Hello, Pokemon card consumers. I gotta finish this hop and talk about Lily because we have recently seen more trainer Pokemon be revealed in Ethan and the booster pack art that's featuring Cynthia and Leah. Anyway, we have more coming, but we need to tackle the hop deck. We have to look at Hop Zacian EX, and we're going to do that. And in the video, we're going to look at not just these cards, but mostly also looking at early deck lists from Japan and stuff, and seeing what they've been doing with the list and strategy, since we don't have the cards yet, but they have for a little bit. Alright, so if we look at Hop Zacian EX, like I'm sure you've been doing, we have an attack close cleave doing 30, and it also does 30 to an opponent's bench Pokemon, which is a great, like, hey, let's get started, let's spread damage, and let's do it. It's one energy attachment. Alright, and then you have Brave Slash, which is a lot of energy attachment, but don't worry, we will be finding ways to do this. And it does 240. And then during your next turn, the Pokemon can't use that slash. 240 is its base. But you will see that we, with Hop, are getting so many boosts to our attacks. Okay, let's keep looking. Snorlax! Hop Snorlax is gonna be another example with Big Belly. Big Belly says the attacks of your Hop's Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And the effect doesn't stack, but that's something. And then now we can look at others, and I just want to highlight those because we're going to now switch over to the deck list and a little explanation from one of the four Heavenly Kings who do this stuff for the sets. Let's look. I will have this stuff, of course, linked in the description, and we can go over it a bit. So in this list from Kikichi Shuma, and they are going over this. It's got the Hops Zacian, and it has a 3 of. Then there's the Snorlax, 2 of those guys. And then we have the Beldum engine with Beldum and Matang. So Beldum and Matang are not brand new. We've had them before, but they are really great with the ability Metal Maker. And that's how you can get a lot of metal energy onto your Pokemon and onto Zacian. Because the thing with our Beldum and Matang, our Matang is able to look at the top 4 cards, and then you can attach any number of metal energy onto your Pokemon, and then put the rest of the cards at the bottom of the deck. And there's a lot of energy in this deck. There's 15 energy cards. That sounds about right if you are doing that strategy with the Matang, because it is definitely a good strategy to maybe go. Good pairing. We also have Pheasantipity, we have Iron Bundle, we have a Tatsugiri, Mew EX, and then we have basic support things. There's a 4 count of Professor's Research, of Iono, and then 2 boss. And then we have Prime Catcher as the A-Spec. And then the other new Hop cards are going to be a Hop's Choice Band thing and a Postwick thing. Okay, let's look. We also have Hop's Bag coming. It's not in this list, but that is actually a pretty good one still. So search your deck for up to 2 basic Hops Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Shuffle the deck. That is a good way to get out your, Zacian if you want, or just your Hop Snorlax. Go find them, for sure. But then, if we look at Hop's Choice Band, when the Hops Pokemon this card's attached to uses an attack, that attack costs 1 colorless energy less and does 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And you know what this is. This is more damage stacking. We have Snorlax doing 30, and then we have this band doing 30. So this is our tool card that we can look out for. And then Postwick, the attacks of Hop's Pokemon do 30 more damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. Alright, so we're up to an accelerated, like 90 if you can get all this stuff to stack on. And adding that on top of something like the big Zacian move is going to be easier. And it's going to be a big number. What would we see? We would see like 240 plus 90, be like 330 HP damage if you have all this stuff in play and in action. We can pop right over to our weird English translation. It's doing its best. Now we're hopping over to Pokeka Book, a beloved favorite by many. This is a gameplay guide. And if we go down, one of the first things emphasized is 2 different types. This one says Deki Taipu. It's Archaludon. And then it also references the Yonuaru, which is going to be Dust Noir, I believe. So if we do that, we can just pop it into auto-translate again if you want to follow along. But yeah, Bridula and Iono. But anyway, so if we look at this deck list more specifically, we are using Duraludon and Arcaludon as our guys, along with Zacian EX, our steel dude. But assemble alloy. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may attach up to 2 basic metal energy cards from your discard pile to your metal Pokemon in any way you like. Awesome. The losing factor for Zacian is not being able to escape. If Snorlax or Blizza DX are tied to the battlefield and unable to move, it'll give Dragapult time to recover. Oh no. To care for not being able to run away, intuitive energy work is required. I want to practice many times to get the hang of it. Aim to deplete Charmander. Transition to Brigida CX. Game points. Oh, versus Surfgo, which is Goldango. Look at this breakdown. We got Severus Cut, Fickle Spit, Severus Cut, Metal Defender. If you can get past like the Google Translate all the Japanese like Pokemon names and stuff as well, and like the wonkiness, like I said, it's nice to have these resources and stuff and breakdowns on type matchups and people just sharing the info, and that's why I want to also kind of show it and highlight it. Because I think that's very helpful, especially for new players too, who want to keep building their intuition and like just build it up. But yeah, guides are helpful. Zacian EX being weak to fire is going to mean the Darmanitan, the Daruma Cannon, or something is gonna be pretty big against it. Okay, so Daruma itself can just use reversal energy, so it's tough over on Zacian's side. Therefore, it's not a simple game where you can just push through. Keep Zoroark EX within range of Bridos EX. This allows Zorua to accumulate 60 damage each time, bringing it within range of Bridos EX's move Metal Defender. Okay. Next thing I want to direct you to is going to be articles from Heru, which I will link in the description again as well. There are, like I said, great TCG players in Japan who make very thorough guides and resources for players, especially beginners and intermediate players, and it goes through things. So they have written, Heru, and right here, they've written about the first one being Hop's Zacian Deck Study 1, cutting through everything with 1/ at high speed. We are auto-translating, and this goes over strengths and weaknesses, and we can glance at, but basically it goes into more detail. The reason I share this is not to like take the information, it's to show also that it's out there and to support these creators who are doing that. There is a second one that goes over more beginning tips and stuff, basics, but the one I want to look at is going to be the one number 3. Is there room for growth deck types other than Brigidas, I guess, which they are referring to Arcaludon. And so I find that quite interesting. I've also already heard about, Snorlax is looking great on its own, but yeah, the Zacian deck is something. I guess we should look at strengths and weaknesses. So this is, Burijirasu, Burijirasu. It is durable, because it does have 300 HP after all. Same with Duraludon being durable, and not being sniped by Breaking Blade. Alright, weaknesses of the Zacian build here. Basically, they say the movement is somewhat linear. It is certainly straightforward, and the prize race is also pointed out, especially with disruption from Nanjimo, which is Iono. Also mentioning Snorlax being the secondary attacker and stuff, but no, Snorlax is like becoming, Hop's Snorlax, I have to specify, is becoming its own deck as well. Like, it's great. I mean, people are building it up, but this is video focused on Zacian. Worried about the pressure of the bench. Hop Zacian needs to be on the field, and Snorlax needs to be increasing damage, and Duraludon needs to be around for energy acceleration. But if you only have one Duraludon, you may not have many offensive options after the next turn. So you want 2. And at that point, there's 3 bench spots filled. And then the 2 slots could be, they recommend, could be Ikirinko, which is Squawkabilly, or you could do Recovering Hand interference with Kichikiga Gisu, which I believe is going to be, how did I forget? I want to say Pheasantipity. Yeah, it's Pheasantipity. Latias is good to help move things around and stuff. Wonderful breakdown of the bench tragedy and stuff. Could be a tragedy. Like, yeah, that is looking like what kind of setup you would probably be leaning to. And yeah, it seems like, obviously with this, you do have to think about the bench and your options and how quickly you can, recover things or get out of stuff or like whatever. It's going to be, yeah, knowing what to prioritize and stuff, I'd imagine. And they also mentioned not being able to use Biwuru, which I guess is Dubwool. Like I said, its bench space is tight. That's true. But yeah, it's something. And like I said, the next one is gonna be on, basics and stuff. Like I said, we don't have to go completely through it, but just want to click that. But that's with Duraludon. And then this last one is going over without Duraludon, the bridge. Here is the Metang equipped list that is provided. Once again, using that engine and stuff. And the strengths of that deck is to have, only 1 prize Pokemon, bit more. And like they mention, locking up the chance for Hop Snorlax to suddenly attack. If you can get Snorlax as an attacker, a secondary attacker even, it's wonderful. Because Hop Snorlax is really good with its 120 move, and then you tack on damage to it. You can get all the way to like 230 or so. With like post wick, along with the band, along with all that stuff. And with the band, you also lower the like attack cost from 3 to 2 colorless energy. Like, it's really good. The Snorlax, like I said, has its own little deck going. It's tough over here. Here's the Dusknoir equipped deck. I did not see many decks in like utilizing Dusknoir. It seems kind of fringe, but they do exist. So, Dusknoir is making up for the lack of damage from Setsunagiri, which is going to be that first attack, the one where it does 30 and like 30 to the bench. So I can see why that damage output is getting adjusted, might be good. There are strengths when you're facing an evolution deck, unlike previous bomb decks. It's good that you can attack first turn. Okay, yeah. Bomb decks, that's what we need to start calling them, guys. In the English sphere, too. Jet energy is utilized. Weaknesses being pacing, lack of damage, not being able to do Cursed Bomb, and then losing prizes. This list is with the highest accident rate out of all the ones introduced so far. Yeah, for sure. That's why I don't think there's too many, but interesting stuff, interesting stuff. And then there's some like points of inclusion. Very interesting stuff, and there's Badoo. But like I said, I present it and the deck list and things to kind of show, and the point of this video was also just to show some ideas and deck lists before we get the set, because it's out in Japan, and then I really want to showcase, like I said, these awesome content creators in Japan and stuff, and writing resources, and I'll have it down below, and you might have to auto-translate it, but like, there's really good info in there, and I hope that it was also just a fun experience listening to me talk about some cards that we're going to be getting quite soon. So yeah, it's exciting. Hop Zacian, yeah, it's a deck. Well, okay. Anyway, I guess we'll end there, but thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!